trying new things, and I am taking you outside on this gorgeous day. It's Monday. It is a new week. It is a new day. It is a new time to not just like something or talk about something, to do something, to put your message, your voice, your content into the world. And now more than ever does the world need it. Which is why I want to talk about storytelling and your brand emotion. Now, usually when you hear branding, you think logos and colors and fonts and imagery. And yes, that's important. People learn a lot about you and what you're all about based on what your messaging and your marketing looks like. I like to take it a step further and teach about your brand emotion, which to me pulls all those pieces together. It's like the glue that makes it all work. And what your brand emotion is how people feel when they come in contact with you, how people feel when they work with you, with your services or your products or your coaching programs or however you service people. And I want to talk about the 5 most common brand emotions that the collective user experience moves people to buy, moves people to trust. It's that commonality in emotions that you felt when you were where your potential client or user is. Because when we think about storytelling, one of the best ways someone described it to me, storytelling and emotions, is when you are the speaker, you are the presenter, you are the mentor. It's like you're at the top of the mountain and your potential client are either at the bottom of the mountain, about to make their journey, or maybe just, a few steps behind you. And by you sharing your story, by you moving them emotionally, that's where that brand emotion comes into play. You're encouraging them to take the journey with you so they too can make it to the top of the mountain. And it means that you have to put yourself back to where you were when you were a client of someone else, when you first started your journey to where you are now. And I'm sure if you can take some time to journal and think back about that, story is going to come to you. Now, if you're stuck on story and you need some prompts, I want you to go to www.lisapisic.com. My last blog post, just from last week, has 50 storytelling prompts for me to eke out some of this from you. But let's get into the teaching. So the first brand emotion is surprise. We've all had good surprises in our life. We've all had not so good surprises in our life. And I want you to think about when people work with you, what is a surprising outcome that they're going to achieve that they might not know when they work with you? So if you're a health and fitness coach, obviously, people are going to build muscle, lose weight, start eating better. But maybe a surprising outcome for them is they become a go-getter. They're not afraid to go ask for a raise. They're not afraid to set some boundaries with people. The sky's the limit when you think about surprise. Or maybe it's the other way. Maybe someone or something that they were convinced is great for them, they're now realizing they need to walk away. The second brand emotion is familiarity. Familiarity. Something familiar. I probably butchered that word. But what is something that you and your potential client have in common? And that's usually a self-limiting belief, a number in a bank account. Again, what is something that you can tell a story and you can speak to as to where you were, as to where you are now? That third one, so surprise and that familiarity, is relief. What relief are your clients going to get when they work with you? Marie Forleo calls this the nightmares, and then the aspirations are the wet dreams. What are those nightmares that you're going to give them relief at night? What keeps them up at night? What things do they worry about? What was something that you worried about when you're telling that story? The next is gratitude. What will your clients be so thankful that you helped them figure out? And then lastly, belonging. We want to be a part of something. We want to be a part of a community. Was there a time when you didn't belong, or you were ousted from family, friends, organization, community, school? And then how did you find your way to belonging again? I think belonging is one of the most important brand emotions that we can tell stories about, that we can adopt as part of our own. And that's something that my husband Eric and I, when we run our business, belonging is something that's super important to us. We always say we treat your business like it's our business. We treat you as family like you are family. We care about you with that same love and trust and care and concern, because Eric and I were always kind of the outliers from many of the groups and things that we were in. And those are the kinds of stories that we share. So of those 5 brand emotions, which one can you start sharing stories about? And let's say you're going to share a story about relief. You don't want to tell the person how to think or feel. That is where storytelling goes bad. That is where storytelling goes wrong. The audience likes to be a step ahead. You love it when you watch a movie and you know what's going to happen. You feel clever. You feel smart. You feel like you've co-created. And that's what we want to do when we tell a story. You don't want to say, once I figured that out, I felt so relieved. Or when I turned the corner, I felt so surprised. You don't want to tell them how to feel. You want to tell the facts. When I pulled out my debit card and I looked at the love of my life and said, honey, I got this today. That's a different feeling than saying I was so relieved that I had that money in my bank account that I could buy that really expensive, or maybe I could buy that $5 thing or whatever it is. Show, don't tell. And we show through the facts. So those are the brand emotions that I want you to start journaling. If you need me to run through them again, don't worry, I wrote it down. Y'all think I know all this stuff memorized? I go back to my own notes when I'm coaching, when I'm teaching, when I'm sharing. It's surprise, familiarity. If anybody else can say that word better, please do it. Relief, gratitude, and belonging. Those are the 5 brand emotions that unite the world right now here in 2020. Belonging. If I were you, I'd be sharing lots about belonging, because that is the message that is so needed. And speaking of belonging, I'm so glad you're here. I'm glad you're tuning in. I was in a funk last week. I was feeling heavy from the world. I was listening. I was tuning in. I was sharing. I was researching. I was educating myself. I was consuming a lot last week. You know, I talk about being, whether you're consuming or you're contributing. And normally I'm a contributor. But last week I had to shut up and consume and listen and learn and unlearn and learn again. So this week, where are you at? Do you need to consume, or can you contribute? And if it's time to contribute, then take these 5 brand emotions that I shared with you and rock and roll and go. Don't just be a bystander. Participate. Get in there. Use your voice. The world needs it. I'm so glad that you're in my community and that you're here. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again next time.